The startling and mysterious death of an 8-year-old girl has left her family in profound grief and dealt investigators the sad task of trying to learn more about what led to her suicide. News 4's Brian Thompson reports.
We've learned details now on the death of an 8-year-old girl on Sunday here. A terrible suicide. The prosecutor this afternoon releasing her name, Imani McCrae. What we don't know yet is what led her to take her own life. Pictures of 8-year-old Imani McCrae show nothing but a smiling girl. But News 4 New York has learned that when police arrived at her Vailsburg apartment Sunday, they found she had hung herself in her bedroom after being sent there for a timeout. Relatives desperately tried to revive her. EMS finding a faint pulse before she died at University Hospital. No family was home today at their apartment above a pharmacy in Newark's Vailsburg section. But sources close to the investigation tell us she had seen on Facebook a story about 10-year-old suicide in Colorado last month. Ashanti Davis hung herself after allegedly being bullied at school.
We just want parents to know that you got to be in your children's life, because this is reality now. We got to bury our baby.
There is no indication that Imani was bullied, but investigators are still trying to determine how that Colorado incident could have been what motivated the hanging suicide here, or if it was just perhaps a tragic play acting. Either way, the family was making funeral arrangements this afternoon. According to a family friend, Imani would have turned 9 years old next week.
That's awful. I mean, I really have no words. I really don't know what to say. I had just done making a video about the young white boy that was being bullied in school. Now, they're saying that there's really no indication that this girl was being bullied. I think it's a thing where she was being punished for something that she did wrong, and she was put on timeout, and she felt bad. But what's mind-blowing to me is the fact that although they're saying that she saw it on Facebook where another child committed suicide because they were being bullied, what amazes me is I'm sure it did not give step-by-step instructions on how to hang yourself. Where did she get that knowledge from, the know-how to actually go through the steps of hanging herself? That's what's insane to me at 8 years old. I think parents nowadays have to really be careful with their children, because their children are smarter than they're a lot smarter than you think they are. Okay? It's almost like a lot of these kids that's being born today are star children or crystal children, as they call them. They come here with knowledge that they're probably not even aware that they have. Okay? But for her to go through the steps of hanging herself is insane to me. Where did she get that information from? Now, my 4-year-old daughter is extremely smart, and there's times that I have conversations with her and she say things and I'm like, where did she get that from? Right? Because her level of thinking is so intelligent, man, to be 4 years old. That's how a lot of these children are coming into this world today. And I think parents underestimate their children. This is not the first time that a child actually went through the steps of hanging themselves. Listen, parents, get your children off the internet. Get them off of Facebook. Get them off of YouTube. Unless you are right there to supervise them. Now, my granddaughter, she's got like a little tablet. It's like a little iPad. And I put it on YouTube, but I have it age restricted. And I put the videos on there that she like watching, like the Disneys or cartoons or stuff like that. And she's always monitored. Another thing too is like when you put your child on punishment, just do not leave them there by themselves. You got parents that would discipline their child, spank their children, put them on timeout or on punishment, close the door, you stay in there, you don't play, you don't watch TV, you're under punishment, and you will leave them there hours at a time. You can't do that. Even with my sons when they were growing up, if they were on punishment, I'd go in. First, I'd give them time enough to think. And then I'd go in there and sit down and talk to them. Do you know why you're on punishment? Do you know why? And then I would explain it to them, because sometimes kids would see things on television, or they would get things from their peers at school and they think it's okay. That's when you use that moment as a teaching moment where you can teach them and guide them in the right direction. Just don't punish them and then leave them high and dry. You have to explain to them, why are you being punished? Why am I being punished? What did I do? And they might have questions, but I didn't mean that. I meant it. And then you get an understanding of how they're thinking, right? So you just don't punish them and leave them in there by themselves. Because your child could actually be depressed, and that depression that you are not aware of because you don't pay that kind of attention to your children could set them off to do things like this. I'm going to tell you, man, the devil is real, man, because he's giving these children knowledge, man, and they're playing on their feelings and emotions. If the devil can play on the emotions of adults, and I spoke on that in prior videos on how adults get so emotional and reactive because somebody says something that they don't like. They act out on their feelings. If the devil can manipulate adults like that, just think what they can do to children. Now, I really feel bad for the parents. They're probably thinking like, this can't be real. We have to wake up. This is a nightmare. This is not real. Our daughter, our 8-year-old, did not hang herself. She did not commit suicide. And the last things their parents have to remember their daughter by is the fact that we punished her. We put her on timeout. Her daughter died on timeout. Never had a chance to explain to her daughter why you are on timeout. They were probably angry with the daughter because the daughter did whatever she did in school or what have you. You on punishment, so get in the room. You have to check on your children periodically. Check on them. Go in there, talk to them. You okay? Mommy love you. Daddy loves you. You don't do these things. Come on out. And then you let them out. You may restrict their playtime, but you let them out. Come on out. But you don't put them on punishment and just leave them in there. Especially in these days and time, man. But again, what's mind-blowing is the fact that this 8-year-old girl actually went through the steps of hanging herself. And you know what? You have children that are depressed, and the parents don't know that they're depressed because the parents don't pay attention to their children. You underestimate them. You take them for granted. This is sad. And again, like I said, keep your children off of the internet, man. Keep them off of Facebook. Monitor their friends, who they hang around. You have to monitor your kids, man, because you have to watch out for your children. And you got parents that will leave their children in the house by themselves. I'm just going outside to take out the trash. I'm just going outside to check the mail, or I'm just going to do this. I'm going to run to the store right around the corner. They're going to be okay. They won't even miss me. It'll be a couple of minutes. But while you're gone, those few minutes, your little child that you think that's not intelligent, that's not wise, will figure out how to get into your cabinets and drink the poison under the sink. Or do what this little girl did, hang herself. How did she hang herself? From the bed rail? How did she do that? From the doorknob? Where did she hang herself from? See, so I'm not even going to try to question this. I'm not going to say there's holes in the story. I'm not going to say that. Because everything will come out. What's done in the dark will come to light. You know, if there's any foul play, it's going to manifest itself. It's going to come out in the open. But this is sad, man. This is a nightmare. This is horrific, man. And I don't envy these parents not one bit, man. You know, they have to deal with the thought of, you know, my daughter was under punishment and she killed herself. My little 8-year-old hanged herself. Where did she get that information from? And see, the news is on 24/7. That's not how it was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, the news went off like at what? Right after the news came on 11. And after it went off at 11, then the national anthem came on. And then you heard that boo. And then shh for the rest of the night. So even adults had no other choice but to go to bed. Right? That's how it was when I was growing up. So there was no all night watching television. At 11:30 or whenever the TV sounded off, maybe it might have been 12. Okay? But after the national anthem, everything went off. TV shut down. But nowadays, man, you got kids that don't want to go to bed because they got their cell phones, they got their iPads, they got their laptops or desktops, and they're up all night long. Their mind is always active and busy, never really getting time to rest and relax or even use that creative side of their brain. You know, because their mind is so boggled with their cell phones, with the internet, and barely watch television. And if they're watching television, it's all negativity. But parents have the power to control what your children take inside their mind. I mean, there's going to come a time when, you know, you're going to lose some of that control because then they're going to go to school and then they're going to intermingle with other people's kids that's coming from different environments or backgrounds, right? And then when they come home with it, that's when you have to talk to your kids, man, to find out what's there. And then you can guide them, you know, in the right direction, you know, but you just don't leave your children out there high and dry by themselves and just think that they're going to be okay. You can't do that. You have to really talk to your children, keep their minds busy. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. See, and the devil is busy, man, because if the devil can manipulate an adult's mind, you think of the number of adults that commit suicide or that put drugs in their bodies and just do crazy things nowadays. Just think of what the devil would do to an 8-year-old child that still has their innocence. They still have a great bit of innocence. So if the devil can manipulate the mind of an adult, just think of what they can do with your kids. And you leaving your children by themselves. You putting them on punishment, putting them in a room, and they're depressed, and you don't know they're depressed. And then he'll just work on their mind. Give them the knowledge and the tools to hang themselves. This is not the first 8-year-old that hanged themselves. And this is mind-boggling to me, man, because, again, if adults are depressed and commit suicide or do crazy things, if the devil can manipulate the minds of an adult to commit suicide, just think of what he would do to the mind of a child. So, listen, people, talk to your children, man. You have to watch them, man. You just cannot leave them to fend for themselves. You just can't do that. They're smarter than what you think. Your little child is a lot smarter and intelligent than you think. They're more creative than you think. So you have to guide them. You have to watch your kids, man, and get them off of the internet. If you're not going to be there with them to monitor them, get them off the internet. Get them off of Facebook. Get them off of YouTube. There were times that children had responded to me or commented to me on YouTube. And so what I did was I went and checked out the profile, because I always check people out, you know. I may not say nothing, but I check you out. I run your IP address and all that stuff. I check you out. If you say some crazy things, I'm going to check you out, right? So I checked out this person and found out it was a child. Immediately, I cut conversation. Don't even talk to them no more. You need to get off the internet. Where's your parents at? You know, so you got parents that leave their children to just get on the internet and troll people. And then when you research that person and find out it's just a child. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself arguing with a child on the internet because they come under a ghost account. Right? So monitor your children, man. This is sad. This is unfortunate. This is tragedy right here at its finest. So feedback, tell me what you think, subscribe. Until next time, I'm fearless.
In Newark, Brian Thompson, News 4 New York.